Robinson and Lance lived. Cars that were not recognized in the neighborhood. This was not a couple that hosted people. It wasn't like they were expecting them to have parties.
Motherfucking shit,
And so
hold
other
up.
people are saying that is something that struck them as odd.
Oh,
There was unusual
motherfucking
traffic
shit,
at this
hold
house
up.
in the weeks leading up to this shooting. And again, I will perfect that timeline of exactly when, and I have gone out to people for evidence of that. But there were apparently lots of different license plates, and it therefore caused a little neighborhood kerfluffle because other people were not able to park their cars because there were so many.
Hold on, Candace, shut up. I gotta figure something out. This is just a test. Okay. How do I get this to get my screen? Cause I'm not thinking that it is indeed streaming. It doesn't, does not look like I'm on a live stream right now. Y'all can hear me. Oh, so y'all can hear me and see me. Okay. Okay, y'all can hear me and see me. Alright, alright. So I don't know why it's looking fucking stupid here, but here's what I'm finna do, right? I'm finna make this bad boy work one time. Hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up. Alright, more. I'm gonna go on your chat. Can I get this off my screen, please? Don't want to learn more. Alright, okay. YouTube streaming, yeah. Add stream marker, share. Oh, how do I go back to what it was just looking like? No, that's not what I was trying to do. Menu, switch account, select stream, refresh page, select stream. Okay, alright. I gotta figure out this YouTube shiz. I think I'm just gonna learn on the job type time. But let me start up. Fuck. Alright, whatever. We're gonna listen to this bitch in a second. This fucking shit here is fucking huge, this case, bro. No, I don't want to do a puzzle. Okay, what do I want to do from here? This is weird. Right, alright, so let's fucking do this here. That's my notifications look like. If y'all see porn on here, bro, just tell them niggas not to ban me, bro. It was an accident. Alright, live motherfuckers. Right now. YouTube with it. No. I don't know how to share my YouTube stream, so I'm gonna go. Actually, no. I should probably go back to. Should probably go back here. Click this. Oh yeah, yep. Click. Oh wait. Okay, Open Studio, right? Share. Copy the clipboard. Yep. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh man. Alright. I'm gonna let them know hashtag chess. Cause I'm just listening to shit, bro. I'm not about to go diving and clicking shit. I'm gonna just vibe out on the chess. Listen to my baby
People that were
Candace
at this
Owens
house,
here.
unusual
Shut up real
cars
quick, dog.
that were
Oh my
seen
Why is it
outside
so
leading
loud
up
to
to the
me,
shooting,
though?
in the
Hold
days
on.
before the shooting or the week before this shooting. I'll straighten out that timeline for you and get real specific.
Alright.
I will pin down when exactly this was happening. But leading up to the shooting, that there were unusual traffic in the driveway
YouTube is not.
where Tyler Robinson and Lance
It's not
lived.
what?
Cars that were not recognized in the neighborhood. This was not a couple that hosted people. It wasn't like they were expecting them to have parties. And so other
Nigga, they need
people
to
are
stop with
saying
that game.
that is something that struck them as odd. There was unusual traffic at this house in
They
the
trying
weeks
to
leading
make
up
it
to
seem
this
like I don't
shooting.
fucking
And
know
again,
what
I
I'm
will
doing
perfect that
here,
timeline
nigga.
of exactly when, and I have gone out to people for evidence of that. But there were apparently
Oh, he
lots
sparked the shit.
of
Next
different
order
license
of business
plates,
on this channel, though, I'm
therefore,
getting a face cam, bro.
caused a little neighborhood, kerfluffle because other people were not able to park their cars because there were so many people that were at this house. Unusual traffic. Again, we are prodding that narrative. We are taking a look at everybody.
Go ahead,
Because
Candace.
if
Talk
I
to me,
don't feel
baby.
good about what we're hearing,
Talk to me, baby.
and Lance Twig's family doesn't feel
What's
good
up, niggas? Let me know
about
if y'all
what
in
we're
this bitch,
hearing,
bro. Chill.
And we've got Decoy Boy, who's apparently involved in some deep internet stuff, I would say. It's a fair way to describe it. Decoy Boy. Okay, George Zinn. There's more people involved. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. There is very clearly more people involved. Okay?
Fuck, bro. My fault. My fault.
This feels to me like a conspiracy. And
All right, here
am
we go.
I emotionally invested in this? Yes. Somebody said something to...
Here we go. My fault, chat. My fault, gang. My fault. My fault. My fault. My fault.
I have been destabilized by watching Charlie Kirk catch a bullet in his neck and then being gaslit and told nothing to see here. We've got people all around him that are telling little lies. I don't like this.
You already falling for my trap?
This
bitch.
doesn't feel clean to me. I need timestamps. If you're going to be transparent, be transparent. I'm not saying that you're being dishonest, that you have these text messages. I am saying that I need them in my timeline, okay? And it is just weird that you're giving exact times about certain things.
He's protected real good
like,
over here. Ooh, he's protected real good over here. I don't like that at all.
We, the public, don't need a narrative.
I'm gonna go.
Every single plausible detail. If we are ever,
I don't really need to move my queen yet. So I mean,
in the authorities, post Epstein world.
I guess I'm gonna go here because I don't really need to move my queen just yet.
Fly with us. That's not it, you guys. I have more to tell you. I am going to, I guess, at first, let's get these ads, and we're gonna get into Bill.
Yo, chat. I'm kind of glad I'm not using this
wandering excuse or wandering answer
face cam right now because what I'm doing here is fiending.
And I've got more people reaching out to us.
That means by fiending, I mean I don't know where the hell I just put my bag of weed that I was just going inside of. Oh, never mind. Found it.
Got a problem.
Found it.
I want your money, don't need your money, but I want
all right, let's fucking get to the get-to here. Alright, there you go. Bro, the bishop out? Fucking dick eater.
They give moms in crisis the chance to hear
fuck dick eater.
And that's exactly why I partner with Preborn, because
I'ma
is not
go.
women. They're making motherhood possible for them. They provide free ultrasounds, they share the gospel of Jesus Christ, and most importantly,
I don't even know what I'm doing here. This is just a game. I'm gonna just play it. I'm not even gonna fucking.
And even housing and financial help for up to 2 years.
Let me listen to my bitch Candace, yo.
Christ-centered compassion. And here's how you can be a part of it. For just $28, you can give a mom a free ultrasound.
All right.
She gets that chance to see her baby, and she will be twice as likely to choose life. Preborn is on a mission to save 70,000 babies this year, so don't just.
Yo, some motherfuckers feel crazy about abortion, and I'm gonna keep it a beam, bro. I've recently changed my opinion a little bit. I feel as though maybe abortion should only be legal for like certain circumstances. Like you shouldn't be able to just go get pregnant and just have an abortion, but like if you got health problems or maybe like I don't know if you got raped, I thought there should be a real reason. If not, had a baby and just give it up for adoption, maybe. Maybe that's like a fucking nuanced take that sounds fucking retarded, but.
And they built a new platform around it. It's transparent, it's intuitive, and it makes sense. There's not some confusing system of ones and zeros. It's an open source, imagine GitHub, but designed for on-chain collaboration and composability.
I'm gonna lose due to time, bro. Holy shit. Alright.
Code gets used, and that's really the value.
Motherfucker, I'm literally gonna lose because of time.
Not clout, but actual rewards. GNO Land rejected proof of stake, which is a system.
Fuck. Alright.
Run the show, and they instead went with proof of authority instead.
I gotta do something here.
Where contributors and not bad actors or Silicon Valley actually call the shots. GNO.land is open, it's fair, and honestly, it's pretty unstoppable. So if you are a builder and a freedom lover, or you're just tired of rigged platforms, go ahead and check out gno.land/Candace. Again, that's gno.land/Candace. Something that my team and I are always craving are beef sticks, specifically the ones from my friends over
I
at
mean, he
Paleo
gets the
Valley.
rook
Paleo
right
Valley
here.
makes their meat
Fuck
sticks
it.
with
Is
100%
he
grass-fed
though?
beef, sourced from small-scale regenerative American farms.
I'm gonna
So
go
you can
ahead
feel good
and
about what
save
you're
my
eating
rook.
and what you're supporting. They stripped out all the junk.
No!
There's no gluten, there's no soy, there's no dairy, there's no sugar, there's no GMOs. Just clean, nutrient-dense
Fuck
fuel,
it.
the way that food was meant to be. So whether you're road tripping, working late, or running around with kids, these sticks deliver high-protein energy.
Your ass is not out here giving a. You talk about the Jews, and this is what you do.
Valley.com/Canada. No one,
Enough of
and
your
I mean
ads, bitch.
absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erica Kirk, has the
Oh, here we go.
power to
Now,
shut
here's
me
the
up
good
right now.
stuff.
That's it. Two people. If you got to make an appeal, you got to go to them. Okay. That's what I just said is meant to be a dig to the donors that are making frantic calls trying to politic this situation under control because they know I'm telling the truth. Okay? Frantic calls from Seth Dillon. Oh my God. The truth is that Charlie was under immense pressure and he was facing financial threats over his shifting stance on Israel, over who he was hosting, from his podcast to people that were on stage at America Fest, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson. That is reality, my friends. Again, want those people to know your money means nothing to me. I already said no to it. That's why I don't care to be in those circles. Make me persona non grata. I know what I did wrong. I looked you in your face and I said no to your money, okay? Don't push me or I will name more names. What happens in the Hamptons is not going to stay in the Hamptons, okay? Bring in our movie poster. I know what you did this summer, okay? Got to add Josh Hammer's face to that poster as well because suddenly everybody's talking. So let's buckle up for some more indisputable facts, okay? People that were at this weekend soiree in which Aaron Wexler sent out
I don't know what I'm doing right now.
to, they're confirming that Charlie was pressed. Now, this was a multi-day weekend, but they're all like, yeah, no, at every layer,
Fucking
Charlie was
puss ball, you
facing
didn't have to do
pressure,
that.
questions from Seth Dillon. There's no way around that truth that they were not happy with his position, his modified position. I have it on first-person account that on the first
and
day
I wasn't even
of
thinking I
the
should have moved my rook to take that
which there were smaller
motherfucker.
meetings that took place, and then the retreat itself, Charlie presented, and he explained
This is sauced up right
that he couldn't publicly criticize. Example that if he tweeted,
this is awful.
and again we're riffing here, but something along the lines of Charlie said, if I
We getting
tweeted,
sauced up. Y'all see my lower? Oh, that nigga's American. I'm changing the narrative
he would
here.
then be unfairly attacked, and Seth Dillon then allegedly pipes up and goes back and forth with him quite aggressively, saying like, yeah, because that would be anti-Semitic. I heard that after Charlie left, Josh Hammer was upset. Josh Hammer, I know for a fact, was a part of the beehive that was swarming him about.
Damn, nigga took my queen easy too, bro. Did I take his?
I know for a fact. So if you'd like
oh no,
to
I took his
Josh
queen.
Hammer,
Wait, what? Oh yeah, we both. I'm so
messages
high already. I'm sorry.
And pretend that you were just chill and supportive and thumbs up. Cool. I welcome you on this platform. Okay, you are allowed to literally sit next to me and say, that isn't reality, and here's how it all went down. When I was the greatest supporter, and I never cared about who he had, even though I got destroyed in debate by Dave Smith on his stage, I was cool with that. I love free speech. It's amazing. Okay? I am offering you my platform to do that. I'm not here. I'm not in the business of smearing, okay? I need answers, and I don't.
She's such a liar. She's not in the business of smearing.
Small lies.
That's actually the direct industry you're actually in.
Okay? Now, as I have said multiple times, what I am uncovering here is a response to what I feel was a severe misrepresentation by BB and his echo in America, of which I would say Josh Hammer and Seth Dillon are part of that echo, okay?
Dude, I'm fucked. I think I'm going to resign, dude.
Narrative and associating it with the events that took place.
I was fucked as soon as I moved my queen, to be honest. I was just dumb.
But I don't like little lies, so let's attack this lead up. Okay, let's attack this lead
up
because there's no reason for BB to have lied, as I've said many times. We talked about Bill Ackman a lot yesterday. We talked about Bibi Netanyahu, the phone call.
Why am I so antsing to get my fucking
kind of trip, kind of thing that to me, as I've experienced, has been a lace threat when I was going off the reservation
Go ahead, do
of
it,
Israel
puss.
by asking perfectly sensible questions, I kind of got these answers. Like, once you speak to this person, you'll see things. Anyways, Bill Ackman responds to yesterday's episode, okay? And I have it. Hold on. I actually...
Baby girl. Let me
I
see
printed
you.
this out.
Let me see
find
you,
it.
girl.
Okay. Here, it's actually right here in front of me. There are two ways to describe his response. I would describe it either as a CVS receipt. You buy one item. Next thing you know, you're holding 27 pages.
Damn, I kind of wish I went back that way.
I bought one chapstick, and here we are. You can also describe it as like an online recipe, you know? Something looks good. You see an online recipe. Oh, I want to make that. You want to know how to make latkes. But first, homemade chef Ackman has to tell you about how this recipe reminds him of his bubby's house and that Hanukkah they spent in Israel. And all the kids love it. And
I mean, he could
you're
take
like,
that
bro,
pawn. I'll just take him.
how many cups of shredded potato? Please, please. Just give us the ingredients. This is his tweet. I printed his tweet out.
Fuck. Why am I'm retarded right now.
You got to bring back the word count. The Twitter was
All
not
right,
meant for this.
I'm gonna go this way.
And because I will not be teaching a seminar or this semester on Ackman's 955 word response, I'll just provide you here with the highlights. Okay.
Mind you.
So he sets it up that he's a victim of something that.
Oh yeah, she's showing it. This is what she talking about here, bro. This fucking guy, fucking Bill Ackman. Here we go. Where is it at? Let me see it. Oh my god, this nigga on Twitter. This was today. They'd crucify me if they saw me just skip over that. Damn, did he delete the tweet? What a puss. Nah. It wasn't 11 hours. That's... I don't know if he deleted the tweet. Is this it? Yeah. My dog. Like, he really just... Like, bro, this is an entire fucking... She said 955 characters. Is she sure? Like, is she 1,000% that isn't more? Like, is she dead ass B? You dead ass B? What am I looking for? Like, are you dead ass B? Come on, I wanna fucking get to fucking. Let me get the fucking. There we go. Alright, let's see. How many characters is this Bill? William. Let's see here. What's the word count, baby? Damn. Yeah, this is more than 955. What is it? Tool? 959. God damn, this nigga drawled. Damn, she's a dead ass.
That never happened. Everybody watched my episode yesterday, okay? I never said the sentence, Bill Ackman blackmailed Charlie Kirk. That never happened. But of course, he's doing the typical, like, you know, the Israeli brand thing is I'm a victim, and let me tell you why I'm a victim. So he just sets it up. And I don't know why he's putting these things in parentheses of Charlie's supposed evolving stance. Okay, we can watch clips of that in a little bit. It's not supposed. And saying it's supposed doesn't make it so. But he then says Candace also intimated that I, quote unquote, blackmailed Charlie. No full sentence there because I never said it. I never said Bill Ackman blackmailed Charlie. There was a file presented, do this or else, okay? And I wouldn't have said that, okay? The first 5 paragraphs of this never-ending tweet are regarding how he met Charlie, which is not something that was ever in contention, okay? I followed Charlie Kirk on X. I admired him. I connected him. DMs May of this year, expressed interest. We got on Zoom. We talked to this on Zoom. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, you just can just delete it. Nobody cares. Not a single person cares. He then takes us through how the weekend event came together, and he even provides us with a detailed itinerary of that event. I mean, I don't know if you needed to hear the itinerary. He gets so detailed that he even has this sentence here where he wants us to know that it was even, quote unquote, punctuated by meals. Oh, okay. That's good to know that the event.
Yo, it's so annoying listening to her, bro. She's literally just a fucking bitch. Like, she's smart and all, but it's like, it's so annoying to hear. Oh my god, maybe that's just me. And like, I fuck with her and all, but Jesus, bro. Just listening to girls is fucking hard sometimes, I feel like. You just lose interest so fast. Alright, I gotta move fast, so fuck it. I don't know why I'm just moving these fucking pawns over and over. So one of my knights, he's trying to fucking be on some weird shit here, so watch this. So watch this. Bada boom. So watch this. Bada boom. Yep, that's what I thought, nigga. To be honest, that's not what I thought. How can I save my nigga here? Throw him here, maybe. Save my nigga. In case this nigga wanna start acting froggy. If he's just gonna sit there. He's just gonna sit there. Oh. Yeah, he did it. You done did it, you beastard. Yeah, probably here would be best for me. What the hell? Why's my rumble sign an American flag? Not that I don't like it. That's why. If I go here, I think I'm cool. Wait, how did he get my knight and I didn't get his? I've not been paying attention. Fugi. What? I was not watching all this. What the what the hell is even this? Alright.
Friends intimate that he felt scared. He felt as though he was being intimidated and blackmailed potentially. Well, he's dead now. So he can't tell us what really went down. All we know is what the people who berated him allegedly felt about it, but we don't know his perspective. Now, since this report has been published, Bill Ackman has responded on Twitter, and I'll read his response in full because we have to rigorously analyze all the facts. This is what he says. He said, quote, I connected with Charlie when he DM'd me in late May of this year and expressed interest in meeting me. We were unable to find a time to meet, so we scheduled a Zoom on June 11th. So Charlie texted Bill Ackman first, They got on a Zoom in June. Charlie explained to me that young conservatives were getting tired of defending Israel, and this was very concerning. He suggested it might be useful to convene a group of young conservative influencers on a host of topics that could include Israel to get a better sense of how the community was thinking about Israel and other relevant issues. He suggested that recruiting a group of junior Charlie Kirks who could host open mic sessions on college campuses could be an effective way to encourage debate. We thereafter scheduled a series of conference calls and Zooms with Charlie, Turning Point, and members of my team in an effort to assemble a diverse group of influencers so that we could convene for a day-and-a-half session. We chose the afternoon of August 4th. And Charlie and members of my team worked to put together an invitation list. I offered to host the sessions in Bridgehampton and cover the costs so that I could attend some of the sessions. Charlie sent out the invitations and about 35 or so influencers accepted. Charlie estimated that the influencers who attended collectively had more than 100 million followers. Charlie and Turning Point put together the agenda for the meeting. Charlie asked me to moderate the economic future discussion, which I did, and I thereafter hosted a Q&A session with the participants. The discussion of the convergence of East and West included a discussion of immigration, value systems, the U.S. approach to foreign policy, and Israel. While I wanted to attend that panel, I had a board meeting that conflicted with that session. Those who attended that session said that the Israel discussion was similar to the others, with attendees expressing varying points of view as well as explaining the views of their followers. Some were critical of Israel, and others were supportive. The sessions are punctuated by meals. I attended one group lunch and a dinner where I sat with Charlie and others.
I got checkmate right here.
At the end of the event, I sat with Charlie and members of my team, and we discussed the events of the convening. Charlie believed he had identified a number of potential Turning Point ambassadors who could launch open mic events on campus, and that he would follow up with them. We agreed to keep in touch thereafter.
I'll take his rook.
We corresponded by text over the next few weeks on a range of topics, not including Israel, and the next thing I knew, he was gone. In short, this was not an intervention to blackmail Charlie Kirk. It was nothing of that sort. Candace replied and said, Candace Owens, she said, I was clear Charlie felt blackmailed by the offer to fund Turning Point, which he refused, not that you, Bill Ackman, blackmailed Charlie Kirk. She said people in attendance described it as an intervention. Josh Hammer and Seth Dillon were disappointed that Charlie was frustrated with Bibi Netanyahu and what would happen if he publicly criticized him. Nothing else in your response disputes that Charlie was pressed by you and others about his viewpoints on Israel and about Tucker or Bibi's phone call. As a follow-up, do you know anything about the alleged $150 million Bibi offered for an anti-Tucker campaign? Now, Candace's response, if you've been following this, let's just piece it together quickly. So Blumenthal and Candace are claiming that Bill Ackman corners Charlie Kirk in an intervention at his house in August for a struggle session. And people are screaming at Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk there's this climate of fear. And what is intimated is that there is some menacing here. The message is you better get in line. It's hostile. It's over the top. There's an intervention. They're telling him you better ship up or shape out. You better support Israel or else. That is how this is characterized by Blumenthal and by Candace Owens. What Bill Ackman puts forth is that actually Charlie initiated contact with him. Charlie and he set up the event. Charlie and he arranged the venue and invited the influencers. Charlie had very little FaceTime with Ackman. And Ackman says that the Israel session was similar to all the others. Now, these are two completely different accounts. One, by Blumenthal and Candace, is filled with insinuations and is not telling the whole story. It's almost like a dream-like characterization. You never know how you get in the middle of a dream. You just wake up and you're there. So they say Charlie happens to be at this event. Apparently it's an ambush. It was supposed to be one thing. It turns into an intervention. People are screaming. He's afraid. They're telling him, get in line or else. Well, Bill Ackman answered the charge. And he said, on the contrary, this was not a random event that Charlie happened to come to where we staged an ambush. Charlie reached out to Ackman. Charlie and Ackman set up the event. It was a turning point event. It was funded by Ackman, but Charlie made the guest list. The point was to groom influencers to be turning point representatives. Ackman didn't attend most of it. Apparently, it was cordial. Some were pro-Israel, some were critical of Israel, and discussions of Israel was on the docket. It's not like they caught him off guard. That was part of the routine. When Candace replies to the correction, she effectively concedes all of that and says, well, some woman was screaming. She says that people were disappointed. She said, for example, that Seth Dillon and Josh Hammer were especially disappointed at Kirk's views. Well, wouldn't they be? They're extreme Zionists, but expressing disappointment is different than menacing. It was characterized in the Gray Zone piece and in Candace's show like they were bringing down, they were pointing a gun at him. Like, they didn't say that, but the characterization is that this was an intervention. There was a culture of fear. There was an implicit threat. That's how they insinuated this went down. It was an ambush. In reality, it was not an ambush. If anything, Charlie knew what he was getting himself into. They said they were screaming and berating. Now Candace concedes, well, these Zionists who were invited by Charlie were disappointed. Well, I mean, wouldn't they be? She says, well, I never said you blackmailed him. I said he felt blackmailed about something else. Okay, well, seemed like you insinuated that, but that's subjective. She says, in any way, this is really about the phone call with Netanyahu and Kirk. Okay, so if you're think of this. You have two separate accounts. Candace and Max Blumenthal are characterizing this one way.
Damn.
Bill Ackman is laying out the facts with dates, and he says Charlie sent the first text. This is when he texted me. This is when we called. This is who set it up. This is where it took place. This is how many people came. This is who came. These were the discussion sections. This is how long we talked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She didn't dispute any of that. She didn't dispute any of those details. So she's effectively conceding that, yes, Bill Ackman gave an accurate account. And that just sounds like a regular run-of-the-mill fundraiser. That sounds like a regular run-of-the-mill political get-together.
No,
where tactical and ideological disagreements are discussed, but it's overall cordial, and it's not some big catastrophe or something. She didn't dispute any of those details other than to say, well, but wouldn't you say that Josh Hammer was disappointed? Okay, but Josh Hammer is like on the payroll of the Israelis. You might as well say that Netanyahu is disappointed that Charlie Kirk criticized Netanyahu. It comes with the territory. That's different than people screaming, people berating, an intervention. That's the only detail that she had any qualms with, and then very quickly pivots to what about the phone call? Now, so I have a big problem with that because that's dishonest. Blumenthal and Candace, unless they produce receipts, unless they produce evidence to the contrary, it seems like they mischaracterized that meeting entirely. It seems like they lied about that. That they were, at the minimum, disingenuous. Because, again, two very different portrayals.
I'll take it.
One had actual information. The other seemed to rely on insinuation and implication. And when the facts came out, none of the facts were disputed. So unless Blumenthal or Candace can produce receipts to the contrary, it seems like they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And I watched Candace's show in full. I read the piece in the Gray Zone. And Bill Ackman's account of that event, it just devastates the implications they made about it. And unless they can refute the facts that he provided, it seems like they intentionally were disingenuous in characterizing the event. And then when they got caught, Candace pivoted to the other thing. Like I said, there's two things. There's Netanyahu offering $150 million to buy them out, and then there's this seemingly innocuous meeting. Now, why didn't you lead with the phone call? If the big evidence is that Netanyahu made this offer and the meeting was really secondary or ancillary or not what it's cracked up to be, why'd you even bring that up? That hurts your credibility. That hurts the credibility of the case because very clearly they're not telling the whole story there, and Bill Ackman is. Or he's telling parts of it that they did not. But let's talk about the $150 million because to me, this is a big problem. Let's briefly talk about the predicament that Israel is in. Israel, as stated by the ADL and by their own representatives, has a generational problem. They don't have an ideological problem, they have a generational problem. It's not that the left hates them, it's not that the right hates them, it's that the young people are becoming indifferent to the cause of Israel. The left is overwhelmingly, at this point, pro-Palestine, more so than they are pro-Israel. The younger generation in particular is radical. They believe that Israel is a settler colonial state. They're carrying out an ethnic cleansing. They're genocidal. The left wing is radicalized. They are enthusiastic. They are angry. Needless to say, Israel has lost the left, and they've especially lost the youth on the left. But on the right, increasingly, it's not much better. They still have the boomers, and they still have the millennials to some degree. But the Zoomers are becoming completely apathetic about Israel. They do not care. They're becoming indifferent. And many of them are becoming anti-Israel. Now, that is something that poses an existential threat to Israel. Because this Generation Z on the right and the left, they will grow up. They will go to the selective schools. They will graduate those schools. They will enter the pipeline in the State Department, in the top positions, in the elite fields in our country, in finance, in law, in media, and they will not be sympathetic to Israel. And when that happens, Israel will lose its most important patriot. So that spells a big problem for them. Because what you need to understand about Israel and our special relationship, if you understand nothing else, is this. Much has been said about our special relationship, our closest ally, and how conspicuous this is and how unique it is, for better or for worse. But what you need to understand, if nothing else, is that America is indispensable to Israel. America is inseparable with Israel. In many ways, America and Israel are literally inextricable. They cannot be separated one from the other. And this is by design. It has been this way from the beginning. Israel could not have been settled, founded, defended,
thanks, brother,
maintained, would not have survived without unconditional,
let's get to eating.
constant, overwhelming support from America for over 100 years.
Let's go.
Now, people say Israel was declared in 1948. It goes back further than that.
Cornball.
It goes back further than that. Without the American Jewish community supporting the Zionist project, even in the first half of the 20th century, there would be no Israeli state. It has been like this from the beginning. America is indispensable to Israel.
Damn, I'm a little bit
And why?
stuck right now.
Because when Israel was fighting its Arab neighbors, America was legally and illegally providing the conventional weapons, the nuclear weapons. When Israel was faced with foes like Saddam Hussein and Bashar al-Assad and Muammar Gaddafi, the United States was fighting the wars Israel could not win. When the international community began to turn against Israel and its occupation of the West Bank and Gaza, the United States vetoed the Security Council resolutions condemning it. The United States is indispensable for Israel's survival. And have you ever noticed that that is the lingo that they use? Israel has a right to exist. Israel has a right to defend itself. That is the dogma. It has a right to exist. It has a right to defend itself.
Oof, he trapped it.
Well, if America is
Damn, I can't go
indispensable
nowhere.
to Israel's existence and Israel's
I'll go here, right?
self-defense, then that means that Israel is entitled to American support. Do you understand how that works?
Exactly.
If Israel has a right to exist,
Oof,
but
I'm
its
eating,
existence
bro.
is contingent on
Oof.
American support, then that means
Good
that
fucking
Israel
try,
has a
brother.
right to American
Good fucking
support.
try. Yes.
If Israel's self-defense is absolutely contingent on American support, then it has a right to American support. And what kind of system do we have in America? An open society, a democracy, a liberal society, some might say an oligarchy, a capitalist society. For Israel to secure this existential support, this indispensable support from America, they must secure influence over America's system, over its democracy, over its government, over its society. And how does it do that? It must regulate broadcasting and dissemination of information. Because as long as people vote, and as long as candidates are staged for the political parties, then Americans, American citizens, still have some sovereignty and some say in what the government does. So it's not enough that the Israelis penetrate our government and Wall Street and other things. They must penetrate the media and regulate the medium, that's where media comes from, the medium of the dissemination of information. They must control the broadcasting of information. How do you control these elections, our open society, our democratic government? By controlling the minds of the masses through the public square, through the centralized mass media, which was television, radio, and print, and is now social media. And if Israel has a right to exist, and its existence is contingent on support from America, then they see it as their right to control and influence and manipulate our system. Understand that logical progression? And think about these questions of survival. Do you take your survival seriously? Do you take the survival of your wife and kids seriously? Would you do anything to protect your wife and kids from destruction? Would you lie, cheat, steal? Would you kill to defend and protect yourself, your wife, and your children? Of course you would. Now, what is the mindset of the Zionists? What is the mindset of Jews? I know that sounds a certain way, but this is a fairly obvious question. I'll tell you what the mindset is. They have been persecuted for 2,000 years. The Romans put them down in a series of rebellions and killed thousands of them, according to their narrative, expelled them from their land. And for 2,000 years, they were forced to dwell in exile, being chased from one kingdom to another, facing inquisitions, segregation, facing cruelty, discrimination, prejudice, hatred, pogroms, massacres, the Holocaust. So they founded Israel, a place where they can finally be safe, where they would never live in fear of extermination, being at the mercy of a hostile totalitarian regime, where they could exist, where they could thrive. Now, stay with me here, it follows. If you as an individual would lie, cheat, steal, maybe kill to protect yourself and the ones you love, put yourself in the mindset of the leaders and the stakeholders of the Jewish community. Would they lie, cheat, steal, and kill to protect their race? To protect their people? Think about their story. They see themselves as the vanguard of God, of God's law given to Moses, In the Torah, in the oral tradition, in the mystic tradition, they see themselves as the vanguard of God, of God's word, of God's law. They see themselves as repairing the world, putting the shards containing God together to save the world. And their story is of slavery at the hands of
Oh
the Egyptians,
shit, are you
captivity
serious?
at the hands of the Babylonians,
Wow.
persecutions, pogroms, genocide. When they say we have a right to exist, we have a right to defend ourselves, that's a battle cry. And it says we will do anything. We feel entitled. We have a right to anything. And you think a couple of Europeans are going to stand in our way? You think some punk from Arlington Heights? You think some Spanish government, some Irish government? You think the Western Europeans? You think American conservatives? You think skinhead, trailer trash Nazis? Whatever they say about us, you think they're going to stand in the way of us? We take what we want. We say what will help us. We kill who opposes us. When they say they have a right to exist, they're saying we have a right to control American society, to secure our existence. Now, if the youth are being lost, this poses an existential problem to Israel. And if in particular, the youth in the right wing of America becomes indifferent to Israel, then they are truly alone. They have lost China, Russia, the whole Muslim world, Europe, Africa, Latin America. Who do they got? It's just us. And what is America's support conditioned upon? The Republican constituency in America. If we're up to the Democrats, we wouldn't support Israel. If it was up to the Zoomers, we wouldn't support Israel. It's Republican boomers that are keeping it together. Without America, they are alone. And without the boomers, they don't have America. So they need the young people in America. They need the right wing in America. Do you think that's why Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million to support Israel? Do you think that's why it mattered to them so much? Netanyahu was going to open the floodgates, according to these reports, and unleash $150 million of Israel-controlled money that would probably come from America. It wouldn't come from the Israeli treasury. It wouldn't come from their finance ministry. Netanyahu would order it, and it would be Jewish American billionaires that actually dispense the cash. He would double their money. Do you know how much money $150 million cash is? Charlie Kirk would overnight become a very rich man. He could be president. He could be kingmaker. He was offered a deal. All you got to do is work for Israel, work for the genocidal state that is subverting our sovereignty in our country. And why was it of such great importance to Israel? Because they knew that if they had Charlie Kirk, they would have the young right-wing men. Because Charlie Kirk, he's not just a live streamer. On the contrary, he's not just a debater. Charlie Kirk has a personal relationship with Trump. Charlie Kirk is the bag man for the GOP. And Charlie Kirk runs the largest youth organization for the conservatives in America. So he's a very powerful man.
I go right back, man.
He's a very important piece on the board. If you got Charlie, you got the young, you got the money, and you got Trump's ear. Maybe you're a kingmaker. Excuse me. Maybe you're a kingmaker in 2028. That's why it was worth $150 million to Netanyahu. So they offered to give him all this money. He declined. Because he knew the money came with strings attached. That was a double or nothing. Look, the Zionists gave him all this money thus far. He's having doubts. Well, we will sweep aside those doubts by dropping literally a pallet of cash. Double or nothing. Will you work for us, yes or no? He said no. They said, come to Israel, meet with me. Charlie Kirk said no. Now he's dead. Now, what about Bill Ackman? What about Bill Ackman and his fundraiser in August? Who the fuck is Bill Ackman? Bill Ackman is a Wall Street Jewish billionaire. Do you know that he is friends with Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, managing $10 trillion in assets? Do you know that Larry Fink is going to run the World Economic Forum in the stead of Klaus Schwab, who's retiring after a Me Too scandal? Do you know that Bill Ackman got the president of Harvard University fired because there was an anti-Israel protest on the Harvard campus? Do you know that Bill Ackman's wife is Israeli? She was born in Israel. And not only that, but she received money from none other than Jeffrey Epstein. And after October 7th, Bill Ackman shifted to the right. He put $1 million behind Trump and became very active in Republican politics, even though he's a lifelong Democrat. Bill Ackman hosted the the convention on August 4th or 5th of Turning Point Influencers. Here's the smoking gun that really brings it all home. Because, and I'm going to be really honest with you, when people said that Israel was behind Charlie Kirk's assassination, I said, don't be ridiculous. Charlie Kirk, and rest in peace, God bless his soul, Charlie Kirk, we all know, was supported by pro-Israel Jewish patrons. Until the day that he died, he never recanted his support for Israel. Publicly and openly, he defended the administration's cover-up of the Epstein files. He defended the administration's bombing of Iran. In the same interview with Megyn Kelly, he said, "You're never going to lose me. I will always support Israel." Be that as it may, after Netanyahu offered to give him all this money, and he refused, Bill Ackman hosted an event at his home where Israeli mouthpieces like Seth Dillon, a Jew, and Josh Hammer, a Jew Israeli mouthpiece working for Ben Shapiro in a previous job listing. Charlie Kirk refused to listen. He was offered a trip to Israel. He refused. When the FBI could not locate the alleged gunman on Wednesday, do you know who stepped up and offered a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Charlie Kirk's assassin? Bill Ackman. And just who do you think that $1 million will be paid out to? It looks like it will be paid out to the alleged killer's father. Tyler Robinson was allegedly turned into law enforcement by his father. His Mormon father, the Mormon father who turned in his gay son dating a tranny who killed Charlie Kirk, is going to get a $1 million payout from Bill Ackman, the man who, according to friends of Charlie Kirk, menaced him for not taking Netanyahu's money and supporting Israel's war in Iran. Do you think Bill Ackman is just generous? He's a vigilante? Put another way, the Jewish billionaire that allegedly threatened Charlie Kirk, the Jewish billionaire married to an Israeli who took money from Jeffrey Epstein, who is, by all credible observations, working on behalf of Israel in some context, the guy that apparently menaced Charlie Kirk is the same guy who will pay a man $1 million for turning in his gay son, implicating him in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Anybody find that a little bit suspicious? This is a tweet, a real tweet that Bill Ackman put out last week. He said, quote, "A number of people have reached out and or posted expressing concern that Tyler Robinson's father may collect a $1.2 million reward for turning in his son," which inspires a few thoughts. First, in order for rewards to be effective in finding criminals, the rewards need to be paid even if the recipient is a crook or worse. That said, in this case, if the father is found to have been involved or otherwise acted negligently in contributing to Charlie's death, civil litigation or criminal prosecution will reverse unjust compensation. I've also seen reports that suggest Tyler's family intends to waive its right to any reward. So yes, we will pay the reward if it is earned to whomever the FBI indicates provided the information that led to Tyler's arrest. To me, that might be the smoking gun. That might be the connection that slipped everybody's attention. So, Bill Ackman allegedly menaced Charlie Kirk over Israel. Now Bill Ackman is paying $1 million to a Mormon man, turning in his gay son dating a tranny, implicating him in the killing of Charlie Kirk. I see a bit of a conflict of interest there. Now, with that being said,
what do I do
I'm not
here?
running with that. I'm not stating that as fact. I'm saying that requires careful scrutiny. It's not at the minimum, there is the appearance of impropriety. That's not a good look. And that needs to be investigated. And I credit that observation to Arthur Bloom, who's being investigated in Virginia for calling somebody an Israeli spy. Go figure. He put me onto this. I'm not going to pretend I came up with it myself. But at the minimum, that needs to be investigated. And I'd be very interested if the father receives that payout. If he doesn't, then maybe there's nothing there. But I find that to be very conspicuous. Now, we're running out of time. I don't know if I'll be able to get to the Groyper angle. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. I didn't anticipate spending 2 hours on all of this. We haven't even gotten into the super chats here yet. But that is the official story. That is the Israeli conspiracy. And as I said, I will leave it to you to draw your own conclusions. I continue to be convinced that it is probably more likely from where we're sitting now that Charlie was killed by some leftist. But we don't know that. We do not know that. And all these inconsistencies and discrepancies, these things need to be explained to us. And whether Israel was behind the killing or not, we have to get to the bottom of this alleged payment. And I would implore Candace Owens, release all the receipts. You have to release all the receipts immediately. Don't play games.
Thought you're gonna win.
Do not play games. If you have receipts, you need to release them fast. And the reason you need to release them is because they have time to put together their alibi. They have time to put together their story. Do not drag it out for the sake of your show. You know, I watched her show today and I was honestly disappointed. She promised receipts. We have seen no receipts from Max Blumenthal or Candace Owens. We've seen a lot of hearsay, unnamed sources, anonymous friends of Charlie Kirk. If Netanyahu
he's just gonna trust the process.
Turned it down, we need to see the documentation. If there is such a thing. If Charlie Kirk sent a letter to Netanyahu resisting his advance, we need to know the contents of that letter. If there is information to the contrary, we need to see it immediately. You cannot withhold that information. I did not know Charlie. I never worked for Turning Point or Daily Wire or Fox News, so I do not have this privileged insider information from the Jewish Club. But if anybody has that information, it must be released. If you have receipts, you can't play games and say, we've got the documentation. You better release it or else. No. Doesn't work that way. You need to put the information out. Otherwise, it's irresponsible. And we need to get to the bottom of this. And by the way, we all need to demand that our Trump government, they have to get to the bottom of this. If it was Israel, if it was leftists, we need to know what threat we face. If Charlie Kirk is being gunned down for not taking money from a foreign state to support their war, that's a problem. If Charlie Kirk got gunned down by a terrorist cell of insane left-wing trannies, we need to know that too. And what we're getting from the government is not good enough. Trump is playing golf. Kash Patel is at dinner. They don't seem to know what they're doing. Trump is posting on Truth Social about football. Allegedly, one of his close friends, one of his important allies, is laying dead. And we don't know the killer, and we have no idea what's going on. There could be reprisals, there could be copycats. Where's the leadership? Where's the press conferences? And by the way, I am sick and tired of seeing the worst governor in America, Governor Cox from Utah, this pro-trans, left-wing, anti-Trump scumbag, constantly jumping in front of the cameras and giving campaign speeches. I have had enough of him. This country did not elect that dirtbag. This country elected Trump to appoint a DOJ and an FBI director that would get to the bottom of things like this. And where are they? See you in Valhalla? Fuck you. Posting about the NFL rules? Fuck you. Where's our vengeance? If we can't get justice from the government, you're gonna get vengeance from the people, and it's gonna be ugly. And I don't wanna see that. I'm not encouraging that. That's not a threat. That is an observation. If you deprive the people of justice, if the enemies of society are not deterred by the government, there will be more bloodshed. And we're just not getting it. Where is the leadership? Where's the messaging? Where's the information? Where is the whole of government effort to get to the bottom of this, keep the American public apprised, to deter future attacks, and to ensure that this will not happen again? Where is it? And shame on all of the Trump shills for not calling this out. They will praise anything. The Cracker Barrel logo, the Department of War, the Gulf of America. And honestly, I was, and I'm not just trying to politicize this, but I was genuinely disturbed by Trump's reaction to Charlie Kirk's death. Isn't this your friend? They asked him about it the day after, and he said, yeah, anyway, so we're building the new East Wing. Are you serious? You got shot. This is your 31-year-old friend who supported you for years. You know him by name. Your son is friends with him. It doesn't seem like he could be bothered. He didn't go to the memorial. He's golfing. He's dancing at a sports outing. He said he got the news about Charlie Kirk. Oh, and I was in the middle of building the beautiful new ballroom. Really, man? What a disaster. So, it's not actually my job or Candace Owens' job or Max Blumenthal or Dave. It's not our job to get to the bottom of arguably the worst political assassination in America in the century. It's the job of our elected leaders, our appointed leaders, the head of the FBI and DOJ. I'm sorry, wasn't Kash Patel supposed to be on the money, no pun intended? Wasn't he supposed to be the MAGA FBI director that would clean house? Wasn't it supposed to be different? What is going on? Enough is enough already. It is ridiculous. And they're wheeling out this douchebag in front of us, giving campaign speeches about unity. You know, Governor Cox, go fuck yourself. I don't want to see you anymore. I want to see the president. I want to see the FBI director. I want to see the attorney general. I want to hear a plan. I want to hear a message. I want to know that the enemies of society are going to be investigated and brought to justice, whoever they are. And not the least bit for politics, you'd think at the minimum, because this is a friend of the president, but I guess even that means nothing. So, as it stands, we don't know. And regardless of whether Israel is implicated or not, at the minimum, this shines a spotlight on how this society works. And whether they kill them or not, it's scary that we don't even know, isn't it? We all know they're capable. We all know they're willing. We all see the motive. And the motive is a ground war in Iran and an ethnic cleansing of Gaza. It's deadly serious. And the last thing I'll say is this. For all these people that say, I don't care about the Middle East. Who cares about Gaza? Who cares about Israel? Is that the only thing you can talk about? What about immigration? What about everything else? I care about America. And I'm going to say this respectfully to people like Matt Walsh, who extended an olive branch, it seems. I'm going to say this respectfully because I've heard Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles and their ilk. I've heard them say this, and I'm going to assume that maybe they don't know better, and I'll be respectful how I say this. You may not take an interest in Israel, but Israel takes an interest in you. Israel takes an interest in you and every American. As long as we have a voice in America, as long as we have a vote in America, as long as we Americans have a say over our lives and our society and our government and what it does with its money and its military, and as long as that is indispensable to helping this country evade accountability for its actions, they will take an interest in you and your family and what you have to say and how you vote and even what you think. So you may not care that much about Israel, and you may think that's one issue among others, and that doesn't matter, and we need to just get off that subject and talk about domestic issues, but they don't see it that way. They take an interest in you, and you must realize our country is besieged on all sides by foreign intelligence and manipulation. And in some ways, that's the only issue there is.
That guy's retarded, by the way. He literally
That's
took my
politics.
queen.
What if it was
my whole
a tranny?
day.
What if it
He
was
literally
some
could've
random
took my queen,
tranny?
easy.
Think about what a sick fucking joke that is.
Like, you could have just went
You have
right there.
Charlie Kirk, a moderate Christian
Thank
conservative,
goodness.
and some enraged tranny
gotta be
with
a
Mormon
4-year-old or
parents
something.
gunning one another down, and it's not one another, but you understand. Meanwhile, the Senate voted not to release the Epstein files. Meanwhile, Congress gave another $650
checkmate.
million to Israel. Meanwhile, Israel bombed Qatar and is gearing
Bumming
up.
up.
The tanks are rolling through Gaza City, and they're getting ready for a war with Iran.
Dummy.
So
Didn't see it coming.
congratulations, you fucking idiot leftists.
Didn't see it coming. I love that
Congratulations,
checkmate.
you stupid fucking
Easy.
faggots. And I say that somewhat affectionately. Congratulations, LGBT leftists or whatever. You shot some moderate conservative. Meanwhile, our country's being raped. Congrats. Good job. Now everybody's focused on internecine fight. Now we're doing the culture war. Now it's Christian parents fighting with their gay kids about fucking porn.
Wait, what?
Justice. Whoever they are. And not the least bit for politics, you'd think at the minimum, because this is a friend of the president, but I guess even that means nothing. So, as it stands, we don't know. And regardless of whether Israel is implicated or not, at the minimum, this shines a spotlight on how this society works. And whether they kill them or not, it's scary that we don't even know, isn't it? We all know they're capable. We all know they're willing. We all see the motive. And the motive is a ground war in Iran and an ethnic cleansing of Gaza. It's deadly serious. And the last thing I'll say is this. For all these people that say, I don't care about the Middle East. Who cares about Gaza? Who cares about Israel? Is that the only thing you can talk about? What about immigration? What about everything else? I care about America. And I'm going to say this respectfully to people like Matt Walsh, who extended an olive branch, it seems. I'm going to say this respectfully because I've heard Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles and their ilk. I've heard them say this, and I'm going to assume that maybe they don't know better, and I'll be respectful how I say this. You may not take an interest in Israel, but Israel takes an interest in you. Israel takes an interest in you and every American. As long as we have a voice in America, as long as we have a vote in America, as long as we Americans have a say over our lives and our society and our government and what it does with its money and its military, and as long as that is indispensable to helping this country evade accountability for its actions, they will take an interest in you and your family and what you have to say and how you vote and even what you think. So you may not care that much about Israel, and you may think that's one issue among others, and that doesn't matter, and we need to just get off that subject and talk about domestic issues, but they don't see it that way. They take an interest in you, and you must realize our country is besieged on all sides by foreign intelligence and manipulation. And in some ways, that's the only issue there is. That's politics. What if it was a tranny? What if it was some random tranny? Think about what a sick fucking joke that is. You have Charlie Kirk, a moderate Christian conservative, and some enraged tranny with Mormon parents gunning one another down. And it's not one another, but you understand. Meanwhile, the Senate voted not to release the Epstein files. Meanwhile, Congress gave another $650 million to Israel. Meanwhile, Israel bombed Qatar and is gearing up. The tanks are rolling through Gaza City, and they're getting ready for a war with Iran. So congratulations, you fucking idiot leftists. Congratulations, you stupid fucking faggots. And I say that somewhat affectionately. Congratulations, LGBT leftists or whatever. You shot some moderate conservative. Meanwhile, our country's being raped. Congrats. Good job. Now everybody's focused on internecine fight. Now we're doing the culture war. Now it's Christian parents fighting with their gay kids about fucking porn. Meanwhile, we have no independence. We have no sovereignty. So, you know, and here's the funny part. If there is, it's funny in a sick way. Here's the ironic part. Over the past few months, I have been making a concerted effort to unify liberals and conservatives. I really have. I tried. I really made a concerted effort to speak in a language that liberals might understand. I tried to demonstrate my objectivity. I tried to bring liberals into the fold. I tried to appeal to their animosity, their legitimate criticisms of Trump, their legitimate animosity towards Israel. I leaned out of the culture war intentionally. When a tranny shot up the school in Minneapolis, because it was the truth, but also out of sensitivity, I said, let's not blame the left or trannies. Let's look at this as nihilism, because I genuinely feel that's what it is. And you know what Hassan Piker said? He said, oh, this guy's just lying. He's cynical. And then glorifies violence against conservatives. Hey, Hassan, you idiot. Hassan, Destiny, hey, idiots. Do you know that this Zionist-backed Republican government would love nothing more? They're waiting, they're begging for the opportunity, for a reason to wipe the far left off the map. And not for the reason you think. Not because you support trans rights, but because the leftists protest Israel. Okay? That's why. Alex Karp is making products for Israel to murder people in Gaza. They're waiting, begging for an excuse to whip up the far right into a frenzy and to create a mandate to bring the government down on the far left. And you just gave them what they wanted. And instead, like your uncle, Cenk, instead, like your uncle of recognizing that, you play right into their hands. Right into their hands. Because you just can't get your mind off of sex. Because for the far left, those are the only issues that exist. Trans rights and gay marriage. Forget about, immigration, forget about healthcare, forget about what's happening in Ukraine and Israel. So nice going. Nice job. And it may be a leftist, and, the left is, they have their problems also. But it's just a little bit of perspective there. It's not to say the left doesn't exist. It's not to say they don't have nut jobs that want to kill us. Obviously, they do. But you must recognize that we, and by we, do not mistake what I mean. We as American patriots, we as God-fearing Christians, people that actually love the living person, Jesus Christ on the cross, we are fighting a multi-front war against a sophisticated adversary. Do not for one second think it's all or nothing, right versus left, or Christians versus Jews, or America first versus Israel first. This is a multifaceted war. And the right position is we can't have all these illegal immigrants here. We can't have black super predators stabbing people to death. We can't have left-wing nut jobs burning vigils of Charlie Kirk and wanting to murder conservatives. And we can't have Israel running our country. And that's an agenda I think people can get behind if we can just put forward a candidate, a party, a movement that says all the above. And I'm willing to compromise on other things, but that needs to be the ticket. You want this country to be stable? We need borders. You want this country to be affordable and economical? We need fucking law enforcement. You want the country to stay together? We can't have political violence like this. We can't have radicals egging on and glorifying terrorism, obviously. And if we want to be a nation, if we want independence, we have to stand up to Israel and resist the division that they don't create, but which they exacerbate. And the only way to overcome that, I'll reiterate my call last week, we must be not just innocent, not just merciful, not just forgiving, benevolent, magnanimous, charitable. Not just those things, but we must be those things. We must also be wise, clever, cunning, smart. Do you understand? We must be both. And you can be both. We can be humane, we can be loving, we must be those things. We can be charitable towards our enemies. We can let God's love shine through us. It doesn't mean we need to be suckers. We need to be cunning too, for our sake and for the sake of our families. We're in a multi-front war. We need to destroy the left, the radical left that seeks to murder us. We need to make our country safe. We need to keep the Israeli foreign influence out of our country. It's a multi-front war. And the consensus needs to be against them both. It needs to be against these sicko, freak nihilists that are okay seeing the country get invaded and people get murdered for no reason and people get shot for their opinions, and also against the people that are doing that same thing in Gaza. We need something like a Christian right wing and liberal fusion against the, they want to rally conservatives against the woke left and the Muslims. I want to rally liberals and conservatives against the radical far left and against the Zionists that want to influence America. That's the ticket. And it's not going to be this Cracker Barrel, nicky-knack, conservative culture war slop. And it's also not going to be this third worldism either. Anyway, so that's that. But I do want to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say, but this is why I'm demanding accountability. This Trump government needs to give us the answers. Until then, we must be very vigilant. And, you know, Sam Hyde said this today, and he said this in his video. I think Sam Hyde's video was remarkable. It's the last thing I'll say. He said, we really must be cautious. And I'll reiterate that. We must be cautious and tread carefully, lest we be used by the devil, by sophisticated adversaries that might be beyond our comprehension. Let us be prudent. Let us pray for prudence and temperance and caution, and to guard our path, to guide our path, watch our step, so that we, forget about one thing or another. We do not want to be unwitting instruments of the people that seek to oppress us. I'm always more worried about that. Anyway, but that's that. We're going to move on. We'll take a look at our super chats tonight, and we'll see what you have to say. It's been a minute since we did super chats, but hey, the show must go on. All right, let's take a look at the super chats. We'll see what you have to say about all this. Let's take a look. This might be a long night. And I'm going to have to filter and read the big super chats because I'm getting a lot of them, okay? So I apologize in advance if I don't get to your super chat because we got a lot of them to go through. So I'm going to filter them down. I think I'll read the top 50 super chats. All right, let's take a look.
Dylan Sherlock sent $100. Hey, Nick, I first heard of you back around 2018. Didn't really think much of it. Just heard Alex Jones or others mention you. I fully went groyper a few months ago and recently purchased a mug and a hat a few weeks back. I just want to say thanks for all you do. Thanks for standing for and with us all. We are with you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless us all.
Thank you, man. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And thanks for the big super chat.
Anagnaries has sent $400. There's a documentary about how God told a group of strangers who the false prophet is from the book of Revelation. They discovered he has a global cult, is putting marks on people's bodies as the Bible prophesies, and he has a webpage telling his cult that is this figure from the Bible. Also, Michael, prophesied in Daniel 12:1, is here. The Catholic Church is taking this seriously and investigating.
Thank you for the huge super chat. I appreciate it. Well, I've never heard of that before. But that's,
What's this start called?
Listen, I tend not to put too much stock in these kinds of things. And where's that sourced from? God told a group of strangers. So there's a private revelation. I tend not to put too much stock in these private revelations because I feel like that's been going on since the beginning of time. Isn't that what Islam is? Isn't that what Mormonism is? Hey guys, I got a private revelation from God. So God said I can have 100 wives, and God said I'm the leader. So I'm naturally suspicious of all that kind of stuff, but I appreciate the big super chat.
Preston sent $50. Hi, Nick. I'm seeing such disgusting behavior on the left of this. I found out 30 minutes into my workday from a coworker, and when another coworker of mine, some boomer lady, heard Charlie supported Trump, she said yes. Good job. With a big smile. Made me sick. R.I.P. Charlie, and God bless his family.
It is, and you know what? Pray for them. Their hearts are so darkened. I mean, it is dark. And they don't know what they're doing.
Fuck him.
You really need to pray for these people because they're sick. Now, with that being said,
oh
we
my
need to
goddamn plans.
Feel no sympathy. Get them fired from their jobs. Get them ostracized in any way that you can. Do not hurt them. Do not act violently against them. Don't even curse them. But get the fuck away from them. Get away from these people that hate you and make sure they're not in a position of power to hurt you. And that means removing them from the workforce. That they must be penalized for this. It just can't be tolerated. It's no different than imagine if after Dylan.
Listen to this. I wish black people acted this way about fucking rapping. Like, you see how they could be like, yo, we not talking about fuck our dead homie. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Like, So why the fuck can't we be on that? But all right.
That church, a bunch of people said, oh, they were black? Awesome. And they were celebrating publicly. Would anybody tolerate that? Because consider, it's not like people are writing in their diary, I didn't really like Charlie Kirk. No, they're on TikTok laughing and grinning and gloating that an innocent man got shot in the face, got shot in the neck. And I'm not the first person to point this out. They think that's okay. They think they're so brazen. They think that's okay to celebrate openly, publicly, without a second thought, without shame. Could you imagine if Dylan Roof shot up a black church and people were on TikTok saying, oh, black people got killed, let's go. And they expected not to lose their jobs? How is this any different? And again, we're not saying ban them for not liking Charlie Kirk. We're not saying ban them for disagreeing with Charlie Kirk. We're saying you are glorifying terrorism. An American political leader got shot for no reason, and you're celebrating that. Sorry, that's outside the bounds. That's against the rules. The rules of a free society is we cannot have terrorism. How can you have a marketplace of ideas, a public square, if it's being shot up by maniacs? And do you know how you get more maniacs shooting up the public square? People egging them on, cheering it on, lauding, idolizing those people, mythologizing those people. You get more of it.
Fuck.
So, no, sorry. People saying that's censorship. What about free speech? How do you expect to have free speech if half the country thinks it's okay to kill the other half of the country, the soft targets where they're debating the ideas? Pretty soon you don't have a marketplace. Pretty soon you have two fortresses. So if you want a marketplace, there's got to be some ground rules, and the first rule is you can't kill everybody. And what goes with that is you can't explicitly, overtly idolize the killer the day after. And look, people are trying to point out double standards. Just don't even believe the gaslighting. We all know what's going on here. Just, pick up the phone, dial the number. This person's got to be fired. This is fucked up. It's not acceptable. This is not controversial. Do not let them gaslight you. So, yeah, it's sickening and it's disgusting, but we live with these people.
JFB sent $100. Protect Nick Fuentes at all cost. God, please watch over him wherever he walks, sleeps, protect his family and friends, and ensure them all a long, healthy life. Love you, brother.
Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. I do appreciate your prayers. And listen, while you're at it, pray for all of these people. Pray for Matt Walsh. And I'm not just saying this because he said he defended me on his show. If Charlie Kirk was indeed killed by a tranny, Matt Walsh is public enemy number one of the trannies, without a doubt. What is a woman? Painted a giant target on his back. Pray for everybody that's going to be targeted. Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Dave Smith. I mean, you name it. Alex Jones. All of these figures, you have to pray for them because none of us are safe. Everyone knows that. So I implore you to pray, not just for me. I'm trying to be safe and I keep my wits about me, but all these people that are leading the charge, Ben Shapiro for that matter, all of them, because you know how it is out there.
Fund Eater sent $50. It's your time to lead the youth, Nick. May God bless you.
Well, let's not even go there. I mean, I think that's inappropriate.
Captain Nathan sent $108. Stay safe. Good bless. Vatican City emoji. Latin cross emoji.
Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it.
Love Grower sent $50. Thoughts on the Oracle Corporation and the Jew who replaced Musk as the wealthiest man in the world?
Larry Ellison. Well, he's a pretty interesting guy. Doesn't really surprise me. Part of a larger trend of recapturing the hill, it seems.
Bro, I before life sent $100. Saw so many Muslims celebrating Charlie's death. Daniel Pikachu said we shouldn't pray for him because Charlie wasn't Muslim. Saw another Muslim say he deserved to be killed for attacking Islam. Can't even have one day of prayer for an American. Just sick. We pray for Palestine every day and they can't even reciprocate to us. Guess that's the difference between Christ and Islam.
It is. Simply said, it is the difference. Thank you for the big super chat. That is the difference. That is why I am a Christian. Because unlike Muslims, we believe that God is love. We equate God with love. Now, Muslims say, well, Allah is loving. It's one of his attributes. Allah is not love in the way that Christ is love. And, these Muslims, they don't even understand the Trinity. The Trinity is the essence of it all. if you meditate on the mystery of the Trinity in a deep way, you understand the Christian religion is beyond our comprehension. It is magnificent, it is remarkable, and it is what separates us from every other religion. It is God. God is love embodied in the Trinity. The self-giving love of Christ on the cross, the overflowing of sacrificial love, it pre-exists the birth of Jesus. It pre-exists creation. God pours his love out into the Son reciprocally through the Holy Spirit eternally prior to creation. And we are joined into the loving embrace. God is our Father. God is love. We're bound to one another and to God by this eternal love. That's the gospel says. There's no greater love than to lay down your life for a friend. The gospel says, pray for them. They know not what they do. The gospel says, today you will be in paradise. That's not in the Quran. That's not in that tribal desert post religion of conquest and the rest of it. It's an idolatry and paganism. It's not there. So yes, that is what separates us. That is what makes us better, and we'll pray for them too. We'll pray for them still. We pray for Charlie Kirk. We pray for the people in Gaza. We don't stop praying for Charlie Kirk because he was wrong about something, because he did something wrong. We all do something wrong. We're all wrong about something. That's the essence of the Christian religion. That's what distinguishes it even from Judaism. Because Christ writes our sins in the dust and blows it away like they never existed. He washes them away. It does not have the haughtiness, the pride of the other religions. So that is what makes us different, and I was disappointed but not surprised to see that. I saw a lot of Muslims say, oh, but Charlie Kirk supported the occupation, and you support terrorism, you know? I mean, and you support Hamas, which takes hostages, which takes innocent civilians captive. I mean, only the Christians can say we are against the killing, we're against the suffering, because we represent that sacrifice every Sunday at the Mass. We see the result of human iniquity every Sunday on the cross. That's the difference. Anyway, so thank you for the big super chat. Absolutely the case. And listen, if you don't get that, you need to understand. You need to understand and get to know Jesus Christ in an intimate way. Read the Gospels. Understand the Trinity. People ask, where do I start? I mean, talk to ChatGPT about it or something. Go to Catholic Answers. Read Chesterton, read Lewis, read Balthazar.
This nigga said Catholic Answers, bro. What the fuck is even that?
Read these authors.
Like,
read, if you're
dog.
into the Gnostic stuff, read Wolfgang Smith. But learn the truth. Anyway.
That Handyman sent $100. Amazing.
Thank you.
Plum Grower sent $100. Goat emoji.
Thank you for the... I'm only going to read the ones with, like, messages here. So if it just says, like, stay safe, God bless, I'm respectfully going to skip those.
Chicago Grower sent $200. When the news broke, a girl in my comparative politics class started jumping up and down and said she was going to celebrate with a glass of wine. Everybody looked at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She had such a genuinely evil look on her face. That being said, it was heartwarming to see all the people on my college campus praying. It felt like what I imagined.
Yes! Oh my god, I'm so
this
smart.
is something that we all feel it so innately and intrinsically. You can call it vibes, you can call it...
Because you can't go anywhere.
You know, feelings or something.
Bang.
And some people mock this and say it's sentimentalism. But there's something to be said. What characterizes the opposition?
Nice.
They are
this
insincere.
one took a turn, but I'll take that dub.
They're
Love
insincere.
a good checkmate.
They're
Love a good
ironic.
checkmate.
They're cynical. They're mocking. Always mocking. Always mocking. Always ridiculing. Chortling, chuckling, smugly laughing, fake laughing. Defining down, diminutive. It's when you see these leftist pieces of shit, when you see these people talk, it's always, well, so fucking guy did a fucking thing. Well, you know, fucking conservative was a